Hi friends, welcome back to Dergy be Playin versus slastreward. So, last time we learned, something I was kind of expecting. Like, I was expecting her to come up in some way. I had a theory a while ago during this playthrough that, Tenmyoji might be Santa, and the old woman might be June / Akane. And now I'm even more possibly certain of that, except, well, I feel like it could also be Junpei, but I don't know, man. Because I feel like Junpei wouldn't deny that she was his first love, because she was. Plus, well, I am aware that you played Junpei in Zero Time Dilemma again, however that works. So, yeah. Either way, but instead of sitting here and speculating for a million years, I'm just gonna open the door. And by the way, I'm probably gonna apologize for this in the videos themselves, but there's a lot of loud background sound in the last few videos. Now, I'm going to keep it to only when I'm speaking. I mean, I generally do that anyway, but there's gonna be some background sound, a good bit of it. For the last couple of episodes, by the time you see this, so I apologize for that. I intend not to do that again. The reason I did that is that I just ended up continuing to record way past where my parents would get up and do stuff and I didn't bother them or anything. Because normally I record in the wee hours and the point of that is to make sure there's not a lot of background noise. Because I get up at like 1 or 2 in the morning anyway, and so I just I record during that time, and it's great because my parents are usually asleep or, well, in my dad's case he's normally more like back in his room playing his own games, but during the daytime, he usually comes out here and watches TV, so that's what he's doing in the background in the last couple videos, and I apologize for that, and I'm gonna try to avoid doing that in the future, but if it doesn't bother you, I'm glad. But if it does, I'm sorry, and in the future. I don't intend to ever do that again, but I just was enjoying the game so much, I just recorded way past when I normally would stop. But regardless, let's just get out of here. But yeah, now I'm just really curious what the hell this ending's gonna be, because I wasn't expecting a whole new room. But maybe I should have been, because, well, that's how the true ending worked in the first game, where, you know, it was one of these to be continueds. I think it was literally the only one, and there were several rooms in that. Should have figured at this point that maybe all the true ends are gonna have rooms. I don't know, man. We're getting to the point where I think I counted we only have like 5 rooms left. And if we like look at the flowchart, right? I don't intend to spend a long time speculating this time because, man, I did that really a lot the last few. I am aware of that. And I'm sorry about that, but I hope y'all don't hate it. Oh my god! Okay. What? Okay, yeah, the flowchart was like, hey! I lied to you! Holy shit, okay. This is a whole ass extended bitch. This is longer than everything else. Okay, so we have another room here? What? Okay. I'm glad I looked at this. I wasn't expecting the flowchart to fucking extend itself. Has it done that before and I haven't noticed? I don't think so. Okay, now at this point I pretty much expect all of these to unlock more stuff like that, but we'll see. But what's weird is like, well, actually wait, I have a feeling this might be the only one like this. My reasoning for that is that this showed nothing else under this until I went back through that bad end. This has 2 more afterward. This one has 1 more afterward. So I think that this is the only one that behaves like this, but I guess we'll see, won't we? At least that I've unlocked. There might be another one here, or here, or here, or here, who the fuck knows? Or fucking here, or here, you know what I mean? But either way, I was not expecting the flowchart to just, like, basically, like I said, say, hey, I lied to you. Here's actually how long this route is. Although, granted, that, again, is how the end of the game worked. I don't know if it extended the flowchart in the first game, but, yeah. I guess that's how I should expect these to be continueds to go. Because, again, there are several here, but the one that was in the first game extended the game. But, man, this extends the game a lot. This is like true ending levels of content here, especially if you count the rest of the route above it, but I imagine you wouldn't, because the only way you get to this is by doing this route and then doing other routes and then going back to it. Or maybe you could do those routes first to unlock this already, but I don't know about that. But either way. Door lock. It says lock right now. You guys ready? Yeah. Yep, I'm also ready to not ramble even more. It's already been almost 9 minutes that I've been recording. Go for it. Alright, 3, 2, 1. If you're curious, you could use those benchmarks that I gave, like, oh, it's been blah-de-blah minutes, to figure out how much I edited out, because usually it's a good chunk of minutos there, because of repetition, pauses, things of that nature. Because not only do I ramble, I often ramble and say the same thing in a different way several times sometimes. And I only end up noticing when I'm editing, and then I cut it out. Yeah.
No!
What's he knowing about? Oh god, what happened?
Damn it!
What's wrong?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Why is he freaking out? Quark's safe.
I left something in the director's office.
The picture.
What was it?
The picture. Ugh, how could I forget it?
Oh, yeah, we must have set it down after using the face recognition thing.
Yeah, I'm going back. You two go on ahead to the warehouse.
I want to come with you.
Me too.
Nah, that's fine. Why don't you head back to the warehouse, Sigma? The others are probably already waiting.
Alright. I'll see you two later then.
Right.
Bye, Mr. Sigma.
But if that really is Santa, and Temioji and Santa like somehow aged rapidly, where does Quark come into the equation? And where does fucking being a salvager come into the equation? And where does being part of the research come into the equation? I have so many goddamn questions. I watched them jog off toward the blue door. And then they were gone. Guess I should be getting back then. But yeah, like, this game really does this to me. I think of something that makes a lot of sense, and then the more that I think about it, usually the less it makes sense. And sometimes I get kinda close-ish, and, you know, again, like, I'm mostly going by 999, because the main revelations of that game I already know. The ones that it revealed, anyway. Because obviously there's things about June that Ushikoshi did not want you to know, until probably motherfucking the third game. So, if at all. I love making these videos. As crazy as these games are, this is like, it literally helps my mental health to make these videos. And I'm wondering why, because goddamn the content of these games is oof. I stepped into the warehouse to find all the other teams already there. Hey and Luna. Fine, Clover. I mean, granted, making videos has always helped my mental health whenever I got past, I shouldn't do this because bloody blee, or, you know, whenever I got past the initial extreme anxiety about doing this, it was good for my mental health. I just needed to get to that point. But, like, I just find it funny how these games don't haunt me like I would think they would, because of the subject matter of them. And Dio. The moment Dio spotted me, he dashed over to the rightmost AB room and slid his card through the reader? What is he doing? Yeah, he always does this. Why does he do this? Is it really just to hurry people up? Or like what?
Has been opened. 45 minutes remain until Ambidex game polling closes.
As he turned to look at me, I swore I saw a flash of a smug grin.
There. Happy? This time I waited for you to get back before I opened it.
You fucker. Especially because the last ending I did, you know what keeps happening for some reason? And I'm sure this is not intentional by Uchikoshi, but like, because of like the random order that I've tended to do things, but I keep running into routes where the last revelation that happened in that ending is accentuated by other things that happened. Like, for example, it's really interesting that I think Clover really does care about him, because it really doesn't seem like it, but I think that she literally was just obeying orders and she probably wanted to save everyone. That ending where she tricked Junpei with his fucking libido. And then in the next one, you know, she still almost had 9 BP, but I think she was genuine in saying that she didn't want to choose Betray because of her points. I don't think she wants to see anyone die, because she's been through 2 notary games, and yeah, she obviously has enough sympathy for people that were also in it because of her interactions with Santa in the first game. I think she was just following orders and maybe wanted to save everyone in that one ending. She isn't Dio-ish in that way, let's say that. I really do wonder why Dio's such a fucking scumbag about all of this, though. And I have a feeling it's because he knows what's going on, or he's been through another notary game himself, or something. I'm really wondering what's up with him. I have a feeling he's a rather AC character, but like, not trying to put on a facade of I'm a good person this time. But I guess we'll see. And I mean AC not just in the basically a villain sense, but also AC in the he was involved in the big scary thing that this place was used for before kind of thing. But I guess we'll see again.
You see, I can be considerate.
Yeah, you're not being considerate, you're being a dickbag on purpose. But Temioji and Quark aren't here.
Yeah, where are they?
I guess they forgot something back in the room we found. They ran back to grab it real quick.
And they'll be here in a few minutes. No big deal.
Why do I feel like they're not gonna come back? Literally because he said that. Uchikoshi, you bastard. These games make me cynical, at least about the games themselves. Because, yeah, shit happens here. While we waited, we exchanged information about the rooms we investigated. In Zero Escape, everyone's fucked, is basically like generally what I've realized, although I don't know how true that is, but we'll see. Unfortunately, none of it seemed very useful. None of us found anything, and we were no closer to unraveling any of the increasing number of mysteries we were faced with. You fucking tell me, Sigma. It's almost like Uchikoshi writes these passages knowing full well that the player feels the same way as Sigma about this. Because I do. With that discussion exhausted, we sat down to wait. Before long, 20 minutes had passed since Dio opened the door, and oh god. Why did I know that would happen? It's because I'm developing a sense for how Uchikoshi does evil things with his writing.
Don't you think they're taking a little long?
Oh boy. What the fuck could have happened to them, though?
Yes,
Or,
I'm getting worried. What if something happened to them?
I'll go have a look.
Then I shall accompany you.
Nah, I'll be fine by myself. It's not that far away.
Just don't look into the abyss too long, or you might become a monster.
That's... I don't think... Okay. Thanks for the comic relief. Honestly, you know, he's pretty good at that, but I feel like a lot of it's very forced. But that was good, in my opinion. Especially because it wasn't the kinds of jokes that I find grating, which tend to come from Clover. You know, obviously I actually found that funny, but yeah. Look, I'm not gonna go to the... Look, I'm just going to the director's office. I'll be right back, no big deal. Alright, see you guys later. I gave a quick goodbye wave and stepped out of the warehouse. Why the fuck do I think they're both dead? Or something. But, like, part of me is skeptical he's gonna do that. But, like, if something did happen to them, why and who? Who the hell else could have, you know, done something to them in here? Except for someone we haven't seen. Because Dio could not possibly have pulled anything. And I don't think he'd have a reason to. Although, we still do not know anything about what his deal is. Only people who really know anything about what their deal is Clover, Alice... Fi, kinda? I think that's really about it. Other than Sigma, obviously. Huh? That's... And also Temioji, I think, at this point. Yeah, they're gone. The fuck? That's odd. There's nobody here. The picture's gone, though. Temioji and Quark must have been here, then. Did they fuck off on purpose, or... Did they go looking for June? Okay, random speculatory Durgan here. Hi, hello. This is obviously... you probably expected this as soon as anything like this happened, but, like... My brain's immediately going... What if Temioji left the picture on purpose so he could go and look for Akane because of the fact that her fucking face opened this thing? That's what I'm thinking. Or, like, clues about Akane, because I have a feeling that Akane was that old woman that died. However the fuck that happened. And they laid out the floor B map. They must have taken the door that faces the warehouse. After that, they probably went through the warehouse and out the blue door to the elevator. Yeah, that's a much shorter route. On the other hand, I came through the red door, which is kind of the long way around. Huh. Looks like we managed to miss each other perfectly. Well, this was a huge waste of time. Shoot. Might as well head back, I suppose. I packed up the map and was headed toward the door when... Huh? There was a light on where there hadn't been a light before? That is a weird... Yeah, that thing! Okay, yeah, I had a feeling that thing was not involved with the puzzles, but was important. Just like that machine in the laboratory. What's that thing on? We messed with it earlier, but nothing seemed to work. I felt a sudden wave of inexplicable, nauseating dread. The light stared at me. I swallowed and edged cautiously toward it. The machine was in arm's reach now. I stretched my hand out toward it, slowly. Who the
So,
Wait.
You finally made it.
It's motherfucking Ace, isn't it? I guess we'll see. No, you're...
I am Zero. I was the one who brought you here. You undoubtedly have as many questions for me as there are stars in the sky.
It sounds like Ace's voice to me, but maybe I'm wrong.
As you can see, however, this is only a recording. I will therefore be unable to directly answer any questions.
He was specifically waiting for Sigma? What does that mean?
Ask if you wish, but I cannot respond.
I considered taking a swing at him, but decided that was spectacularly futile and kept my bald fist at my side.
Now, where to begin? There are many things I wish to tell you, but unfortunately, our time is limited. As such, the information I can provide is also limited. I have chosen two things of great importance to tell you. First, I will tell you about termites.
Okay, here's where the termites come in.
In retrospect, I suppose that's a rather odd thing to say. I imagine you look rather bewildered right now. Perfectly understandable. The person who kidnapped you and threatened you with death is lecturing you about insects. I suspect it hardly seems fair. Nonetheless, this is very important. In a way, it will determine your fate.
Because this is Uchikoshi and random sciencey shit is everything.
So I ask that you listen carefully. Have you ever seen a termite mound? They are splendid structures. Some might even call them works of art. Termites are natural architects, and their mounds are both structurally sound and make excellent use of space. So, are they following some sort of plan as they build? Are there termite blueprints detailing which room goes where? No, of course not. Each termite is simply an oblivious cog in a tremendous machine programmed by millions of years of termite DNA. It is doubtful an individual termite has any idea what its contributions are helping to create. But a human does. We can appreciate the elegant forms of their alien cathedrals. We can see the simple beauty of their perfect functionality. We can understand the splendid planning of their structure. In other words, only an intelligence of a higher order can understand the beauty of what the termite builds. Now, consider humans. Why are we alive? Why do we love and give birth? Why do we create? From where do our cultures spring?
God, Uchikoshi delving really deep into philosophy like this is the most Uchikoshi thing I've ever heard in my life. But I'm still like, where the hell is this going, and how does this relate to anything? But I'm sure it relates like fuck to everything, because it's Uchikoshi, everything's interconnected with him. And I love that about how he writes.
There are many theories, but no one knows the truth. We are oblivious cogs in a tremendous machine programmed by millions of years of human DNA. No doubt you see now what this analogy is supposed to illustrate. Yes, I mean to say humans are not different from termites. We trudge through our lives with no greater understanding of our ultimate goal. You might say we don't understand what we're building. Only an intelligence of a higher order than ours can understand what we're doing. Imagine how we might look to such an intelligence. We may be building some structure so perfect and elegant, we can't even perceive it. Whatever it is, we've likely been building it on a dimension just above the ones we know since time immemorial. If we are like the termites, then what we've created is almost certainly something of tremendous beauty. And you are about to catch a glimpse of it, or have you already? Well, that's enough on that subject, I think. Consider what I've said.
Yeah, that only makes less sense. Fuck you. But
Now,
this is very
let's
educational.
move on to the second
Okay.
topic.
Thank you for not just fucking off then.
It is somewhat more immediately meaningful to your life, and in fact, the lives of several billion other people. I realize this is rather sudden, but I have a password for you. It is the password to disarm the bomb, numbered 1.
Oh my god, so now we go over to the bombs. On the left side, on the right side of the flowchart.
Are you ready? I will only say this once, so pay close attention. The password to disarm the number 1 bomb is EQZ RGJ DXR.
Do I fucking write this shit down? I'm gonna write it down just in case, but I'm pretty sure what'll actually happen is that Sigma will just remember it and put it in. Because that's how these endings work. But I'm gonna just be 100% certain. And then we can disarm the bombs. Alright, written it down. And, I'm also wondering if the bombs might come into play here. Because apparently there's a lot here, although I have this feeling that there might actually be another question mark here that we then have to get by doing the bombs thing? I guess we'll see. I had no idea what he was talking about. What bomb? Was he saying there were bombs too? If he guessed at my future confusion, he showed no sign of it.
That is the last of the information this message was meant to convey. Before I go, however, I have a warning.
So why the fuck is the termite things even important to him? Okay, so if humans don't know what the hell they're creating, what does that fucking mean? But I'm sure that it's relevant to Zero and perhaps supposed to be part of what he wants to achieve here?
You cannot tell any of your companions what you heard or saw here. If you do, you will be penalized immediately. I hope we will meet again someday. We would have much to discuss.
Wait. God damn it, you can't just spout all that crap and disappear! I found myself yelling at empty air. The hologram had disappeared. Might as well have been yelling at empty air regardless of if he disappeared or not, as you know, but you know. Ugh. What kind of an idiot did he take me for? Termites? Other dimensions? How could that have anything to do with kidnapping us? Yeah, okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one, but I'm sure Uchikoshi expects you to be confused about this, and for some reason is very adamant about that whole termites thing and what the hell that means. At least symbolically for the, story. Shit. I kicked out at a nearby shelf.
10 minutes remain until Ambidex game polling closes.
I just realized, what if Tenmyoji was cooperating with Zero by doing the whole picture thing and then fucking off so that Sigma could hear that message? I guess we'll see. Was that message even meant for Sigma? I feel like probably, but we'll see. Maybe it was meant for anyone that found it?
All players, please enter your votes. If no vote is recorded before the deadline has passed, any non-voting parties will automatically ally.
Ah, crap. I need to get back. Not like there's any point staying here. What the fuck happened to them, though? Spun around and ran out of the room toward the warehouse.
Grandpa!
Okay, there she... Okay, where the hell did they go?
Look, Mr. Sigma's back!
Took you long enough.
The hell were y'all? Where are the others?
In the AB rooms.
They went in already?
Yep.
Why didn't you two? Have you been waiting for me?
Yeah, Grandpa said there was something he had to tell you before we voted, no matter what.
Oh?
Nothing that significant. Just wanted to tell you we're going to choose ally this round. That's it.
And you had to tell me that no matter what? Seems kind of pointless. I mean, words are cheap. You can promise whatever you want.
true, but we've got something to back it up. Just hear me out.
Okay, go ahead.
Quark and I both have 8 BP. We're already on the home stretch, so what do we need to get to the magic number? Well, we need you to choose ally. If you do that, it doesn't really matter to us what we pick.
You get to name whether you got 2 or 3 points.
Exactly. That being the case, we don't have any reason to betray you. And if we both choose ally, we both gain points.
True, but you must have considered that I'll choose betray. That would mean you'd choose betray to protect yourselves.
But that's why we're telling you we won't choose betray.
Mm-hmm.
Can I trust you?
Of course.
Alright, tell me one thing. Let's say we do this, and we both ally. Everybody gets 2 points. That means you and Quark will have enough to leave, which is great for you, but I'll be stuck with a measly 5. How do I know you aren't going to just open the number 9 door and leave us in the lurch?
I can guarantee it.
How?
I can give you my word. I will not open the number 9 door, even if I have enough points to do so. I swear it. We aren't going to abandon everybody else just so we can escape.
I swear too. I promise.
Man. So all you've got is a promise, huh?
I make a promise. I keep it.
I think he honestly is. I think he's being genuine as absolute fuck about that, honestly. So I'm gonna choose ally, but I'm also ready for the oof of him choosing betray, but I also don't think that they're gonna do that thematically.
Trust me.
Please! You've gotta trust us!
Except, because of how desperate they're being here, my brain's automatically going, yeah, they want to just get the fuck out. Alright, fine. I'll trust you. Yeah, like, why else would they be so adamant about it if they didn't plan to do that? Oh boy. Question. Granted, I probably shouldn't, like, trust the flowchart at this point, as far as, like, how many squares are left. Okay. That doesn't tell me anything anyway, because if there were less squares on the ally side than the betray side, I'd think it meant they would just fucked off out the door, but, anyway, I guess we'll see, because I'm gonna choose ally. But, like, why would they be so vehement about this if they aren't planning to do exactly what they just promised they wouldn't do? You know what I mean? Either way.
We're counting on you, Sigma.
You gotta choose ally! You promised!
With that, they turned around into the AB room second from the right. But if they don't want to fuck off immediately, then why are they so vehement about it? And it probably has something to do with what they know. Which is also probably why they fucked off when Sigma went looking for them. And I have a feeling that they're pushing the game along for Zero. And that everything they're doing here is probably meant for that. And that he's not going to leave because he wanted to help finish the game. Whoever the hell Zero is Zero Ace? Or, like, I don't know if his voice is familiar enough to me, but I feel like that's Ace's voice, right? But if it is, then what does that mean? And what happened to his eye? And I don't know, man. I guess I should get moving. And if it's not Ace, then who is it? I bet it's someone from 999. Although, I don't know. But I'm gonna choose ally. I'm just really wondering what the hell all that was. Also, the game conveniently glossed over why Toime and Quark were not there when he went into the room. Which I'm sure is also important for plot things. I'm pretty sure they're gonna pull a Clover here in that one ending. However, I'm still gonna choose ally. Because I'm curious.
1 minute remains until Ambidex game polling closes.
I had a decision to make. Should I trust Quark and Toime? Well, I could believe they were just telling the truth and still betray them. That would bring my BP to 6. I'd be that much closer to 9. And choosing betray would guarantee that they wouldn't try to escape without the rest of us. Betrayal seemed like the safe bet, but...
Please! You've gotta trust us! You've gotta choose ally! You promised!
Toime, I could betray easily enough. No, not in my opinion. He's been too helpful in so many routes. I think he doesn't want anyone to die here. I think he's cooperating with Zero in a way where hopefully people don't die. And no one's died yet, I think. Let me think about that. Has anyone died yet here? No, wait, no, yeah, Alice has, right? Yes, Alice died here, I think. But as far as anyone else, no. What the hell was I going to do? Again, I think they're gonna do it, but and honestly, it makes a little bit more sense that Tomeyoji would keep his word because of everything we've seen so far. I kind of won't be surprised either way. But like, because I really want to know what the hell happens here, and I don't want to be a dickbag, I have to do it. I have to do it because I really need to know what the hell they're gonna do, and what the hell, hopefully, that means. It's like the game wants to pressure you into betraying here, which is why I think that the most likely thing is that they actually did choose Ally. However, I think again the game wants you to not trust them. I think because of the thematic points and such of the AB game. But now we'll see. It's weird. Literally, it's 50-50 to me. It makes as much sense for them to fuck off as them to not here. But if they choose Betray, then that won't make sense for Tomeyoji. I mean, granted, he promised both this and that, so I think I should trust him, but I think the point is you're not really supposed to. But you're supposed to, on faith, do this. Either way, we're about to see, aren't we? Both. Because, like, it's almost like we're doubly having to blindly trust him right now.
Results will be displayed in the warehouse. Thank you for your participation. Ambidex gates now opening. Results from round 3 of the Ambidex game will now be displayed. Please direct your attention to the results screen.
They did. Fuck you, guys. Oh my god, really? I wasn't expecting that, dude. So why? Why the shit? What the fuck? What does that mean? Because at this point, it's not even like, oh god, you assholes. Because I'm so used to that feeling at this point in this game, right? But it's more like, what the hell does that mean about my assumptions that I just made? Are they all wrong? I don't think so. But maybe? Fuck y'all, but why? Seriously, why? Like, I can't wrap my head around everything I've seen from him so far with this.
Points have been assigned or subtracted accordingly.
I'm gonna skip a lot of the robotic voice lines because they're the exact same.
Please check your bracelet.
Hey, what the hell, guys? Why'd you betray me?
Quark had nothing to do with this. I made the vote.
Grandpa.
Alright, fine. Why'd you break your promise to me?
I only promised you one thing. We wouldn't open the number 9 door, even if we got 9 points.
What? So, you're not going to leave?
Not what I said. Of course we're going to leave.
What?
Look, see Clover over there?
What? Oh my god, what? Fuck you. Wait, so he knew Clover was gonna do that, didn't he? Like, he just knew he would always. She would always.
Jeez.
That bitch!
Wait. Quark and Tomeyoji have...
The words were barely out of her mouth when Tomeyoji and Quark ran past.
No! God damn it!
Clover, are you really going to leave?
Well, yeah, why else would I open the door?
But why?
I'm going to go call the others so we can capture Zero Senior.
Tomeyoji, are you and Quark going too?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Sorry, everybody.
So Sigma, happy? Kept my promise. Clover opened the door, not me.
Like, hell I'm happy. That's some shady shit, Tomeyoji.
You say so. I have to get out of here, and that's that. He's gotta pay for what he's done. Zero.
You mean you know who Zero Senior is?
Yeah, no point keeping it a secret now, I suppose.
Okay, thankfully, we're at least gonna learn
I know
this.
exactly who Zero Senior is.
What?
Although he's not gonna say who, huh? Although we'll see.
The number 9 door has been opened. It will remain open for 9 seconds.
Let's go. Come on, guys. Time to move.
Wait, so I'm guessing the point is if you don't have over 9 BP, you should not go? Was that actually ever really mentioned by Zero Jr.? I don't know. Right.
Right.
Oh, wait! This is for you, Mr.
Wait, what?
Sigma.
Quark held something out. I looked down to see 2 pieces of folded paper. What is this?
It's a letter. I wrote it in the director's office before the AB game. I wanted to tell you what kind of guy Grandpa is. So, read it, okay?
Interesting. He pressed it into my hand.
See you later, Mr. Sigma.
So what the hell? He turned and ran toward the door, Tomeyoji and Clover following his footsteps. I was so surprised by the letter that I didn't even try to stop them. Before I could think of anything to say...
See you.
Goodbye.
All the others. So there's more than just Alice, although that was obvious to me. But who the hell are the others? And who does she work for?
The number 9 door has closed. This ends the nonary game. Thank you for your participation. As the game is over,
Okay, yeah.
all doors escape.
Yeah, we've
please
heard this before too. That's always going to happen in these endings. But wait, are we going to be able to read the thing now?
Shit! They're gone.
All we can do now is hope they bring help back.
Indeed.
I agree.
I looked down at Quark's letter and slowly unfolded it. His handwriting was still slightly uneven, but he'd filled both pages with writing. I began to read. It was a really stormy day when he found me. He said the rain was coming down so hard it almost hurt, but somehow he managed to hear a baby crying. I guess I must have been crying pretty loud. Okay, so Tomeyoji, or who I think is Santa, found him as a baby. Now I see. He took me home and did his best to raise me, but he'd never been married or had a kid before. Okay, so the wife thing is a wash, but I think the old lady was a Kane, but we'll see. So I think it was really hard for him. He couldn't figure out how to mix the formula, so he was always carrying the directions around with him. But again, like, his reaction to seeing the old lady's body, it would make sense for both Santa and Sigma, but I think he's Santa. That, both Santa and Junpei. Now I'm starting to blend the protagonists together instead of defaulting to Junpei. Oh boy, it's happening. Anyway, but I think that, still, I guess it's really more still of a coin flip of if he's Junpei or Santa, but I think he's Santa. If that old woman isn't a Kane, that won't make any sense to me. It's pretty obvious here. Like, if I'm not right about anything else, I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. Actually, no, I think it is. Didn't he always have a picture of a Kane or something? He meaning Santa. So yeah, I think this is Santa here. Which also, I think, belies how much he's, like, vehemently against the idea that his sister was his first love because gross. But, like, again, also, if it was Junpei, I think he'd just say yeah. But I don't know. Again, I don't know. Maybe he would deny it, but I don't know why he would. Well, I mean, part of me feels like 999 Junpei would have denied it and been kind of juvenile about his obvious love for Akane, but I don't think after 999 he would be like that. Also, I guess I was a pretty picky eater, so if he didn't get the water to formula ratio just right, I wouldn't eat it. I guess I was kind of a pain, huh? I'm wondering, why did he choose betray? Especially because obviously this letter is supposed to convey that Tomeyoji's a kind person under all the not kindness that he just showed and that he has showed. But what I'm wondering is, why the fuck did he choose betray? I'm trying to remember right now, because if we chose betray... Okay, no, it's because if we chose betray and he chose ally, then he would be left with less points and he had to get out of here like he just said. That's why. I had to think about it, but that's why, surely. But he didn't give up, and now here I am. When he found me, I was really, really small, and he was worried that I might not make it. That's why he named me Quark. A quark is a really, really small thing, and I was really, really small too. Oh my god, cute. And yeah, I had a feeling that, you know, he wasn't his actual grandpa, because he clearly doesn't really know a lot about how the fuck to parent. At least, like, I got that vibe, you know? Okay, so yeah, he raised Quark is what happened. Grandpa didn't need to worry, though, because it turned out that I was pretty tough. When I was 1, he forgot I was sleeping in the bed of his truck and drove off. I rolled out and went off the back, but I didn't even get scratched. Oof, man. I started walking when I was 2, and when he wasn't looking, I fell down the stairs. Oof. I didn't get hurt then, either. When I was 3, I got really sick. I had a super high fever for a week, but eventually I got better. I guess you could say I'm pretty lucky. Oh my god, cute! My heart. Anyway, I didn't really have any more accidents after that, and I was a pretty healthy kid. By the time I was 6, I'd started helping Grandpa out with his work. His job was to gather junk from abandoned buildings. Yeah, we figured that by now. He literally did say salvage. And he did say garbage collector, which I guess, again, isn't really that far from this, but, you know. It makes you think the people that drive around to everyone's houses and, you know, dump their trash in their truck and then drive off, but no. And also, I don't think that's a job anymore, considering how little humans there are apparently left here. Then he'd fix it up or pull out the useful parts and sell them. There were plenty of abandoned buildings, but finding good stuff in them was hard. You had to know which parts were useful, or you could end up wasting a bunch of time. Every time I'd find something, he'd explain to me what it was, how it was supposed to work, how to fix it, all sorts of things. Usually, though, I just wanted to finish up work so I could go to the theater. The theater came to our town once a week in a wagon. They'd show old news or movies. I went every single week, but Grandpa only went once in a while, and he'd only go weeks when they showed movies. Oh yeah, I didn't know that I'd been adopted till I was 7. One of the other kids on my block told me. I guess after Grandpa found me, he looked all over town to try and find somebody who'd take me. The kid from my block actually had a mom, and he'd asked her if she would take me in too. I gotta admit, I was pretty shocked when I heard that. There weren't a lot of kids with parents around, so hearing that someone lived with his actual mom was pretty impressive. Wow, god, yes, oof. The sheer, like, hey, there's very fucking few people left thing. But apparently it's not like there's no society left or anything. It's not like we're the only people left in the entire world. Pretty clearly here, at least I hope not. Maybe at this point, but I hope not. But not when they all got kidnapped, that's for sure. I was also kind of surprised that Grandpa had tried to get someone else to take me. Did that mean he didn't want me? Oh, oof, man. The kid who told me about Grandpa trying to get rid of me was a real jerk. He was totally spoiled and he'd brag to everybody about how he had a mom. Jesus Christ, dude. That's oof, man. Cause, like, having a mom is still pretty normal. Like, of course there's some people that don't. But, like, the idea of having a mom not being normal gets across just fucking how goddamn much society has oofanized. Oofanized is now a word. He liked to come up to me while I was working and say stuff like, must be hard not having— oh, fuck you, asshole. God. It had never bothered me before, but after I found out that Grandpa had adopted me, I started to think that maybe he didn't really want me. If I could work on my own, then he could get rid of me. I was scared to know the truth, so I never asked him. Oof. Then one day, he took me to a bar in our neighborhood. During the day, of course. He went there sometimes to drink scotch, but I'd never gone before. When we got in, he just walked up to the counter with that grumpy look he has, and I thought, oh no, he's gonna make me work here, but I was wrong. I saw him pass something to the bartender, and he picked me up and set me down on a stool next to the counter. The stool was pretty high, especially for a 7-year-old kid, and my leg just dangled off of it. It seemed really, really high to me, and I was pretty nervous. Eventually, the bartender came over with a glass of scotch. Oh, yep. I had a feeling this is where the root beer is gonna come into play. Some of the things you find in the safes don't seem to correlate with directly what happens after, but it looks like there's intentionally a good few of those in each page, but it's not always that clearly. We've had several of those instances at this point. Eventually, the bartender came back over with a glass of scotch and another big glass full of something else. As I looked closer, I realized that the second glass was full of some sort of brown liquid with a scoop of ice cream in it. It took me a minute to realize what it was. A root beer float. I'd never seen one before. I was so surprised. Root beer was even more expensive than the nicest alcohol in the bar. To me and the other kids, it seemed more like an urban legend than a real drink. But there it was, right in front of me. I stared at the float. I still wasn't sure it was real at that point, and I turned to look at Grandpa. He looked back at me. I didn't know what to do, so I turned to the bartender. He'd already turned around and moved off, though, so I figured he must have put the glass down in front of me on purpose. It still didn't seem like it could be real, and I was just staring at it even when Grandpa told me to hurry up and drink it before the ice cream melted. His gruff voice sounded like an angel. Oh my god, cute boy! Is this really mine? He nodded. Words can't describe how awesome it was. I'd never tasted anything like root beer before. Root beer floats are fucking legit, man. I think most kids, I would hope most kids have had this experience of going to one of these kinds of restaurants, because my dad used to take me to a place like this before. I think it was called Rock Bottom Brewery. It was in Colorado, and it had the most godly motherfucking root beer. And yeah, I always got a root beer float when I was a kid when we went there, and I loved it. It was good shit. Words can't describe how awesome it was. I'd never tasted anything like root beer before. The creamy sweetness of the ice cream made my entire head feel light. I felt like the luckiest boy in the whole world. That's not an exaggeration, I really thought that. The root beer float was delicious, but what made me even happier was Grandpa. When I looked over at him, he was smiling. I know that's gotta be hard for you to imagine, but he really was. Right then, I didn't care whether he just found me and adopted me or not. He'd bought me a root beer float. That made me way luckier than some kid who had a mother but never tasted root beer. Cute boy. Of course, after we left the bar, he was still the first kid I bragged to. So Grandpa and I were doing pretty good. Until the fight. I was in a super bad mood that day. I'd torn one of my shoes that morning, and some old drunk guy had yelled at me. All the junk I'd found was totally useless. The day was almost over, and I was fed up, so I just grabbed some random trash and took it back to the house. When I showed what I found to Grandpa, he frowned. He started going through each thing I brought back, explaining why they were all useless. He got really mad and just yelled, "I don't care." Then he got mad and I couldn't take it anymore, so I ran away. Oof. I was pretty upset, and I started thinking that maybe Grandpa had only adopted me so he could raise me to work and make money for him. After a while, I went and hid in an abandoned building, but by then I had started to calm down and think that maybe I should go back and apologize. It had started raining pretty hard, though, so I decided I should wait for it to stop. But that was just an excuse. The truth was that I was nervous. Part of me knew I'd done something wrong, but I didn't want to admit it. The rain didn't stop, though, so I just sat there staring out at the gloomy gray sky. I imagined Grandpa coming to get me. It kept raining all night, and then he never showed up. Oof. I gave up waiting and decided it was time to go home. It was about halfway there when I heard somebody groaning. At first I thought I should just ignore it and not get involved, but when I went over anyway, and it was Grandpa. He was totally soaked, and I could tell right away that he'd been there for a really long time. I yelled, and he opened his eyes a little bit. He smiled weakly and said he was glad I was safe. He'd spent all night out in the rain looking for me. I felt awful. Grandpa had been out in the rain looking for me so long he'd collapsed. I was horrible. Oof, man. He'd heard me crying in the rain, but I hadn't heard him. As I ran to get the doctor, I promised whatever god might be listening that if they would only save Grandpa, I'd never ask for another root beer float ever again. Cute. He got a real bad fever and his temperature wouldn't go down for days. The doctor said that if it kept up, he'd die. If he died, then I'd be all alone. There wouldn't be anybody left to care about me. Oof. The thought of that happening terrified me. I think a lot of times you don't really realize how many people might care about you. But yeah, that's an oof. Also, this song is oof, man. And awesome. And oof and awesome. Oof awesome? Unfortunately, I must have passed some of my luck on to Grandpa. The song is like sad and triumphant and epic at the same time. It's amazing to me. Fortunately, I must have passed some of my luck on to Grandpa, because a week later his fever finally broke. I was glad he wasn't going to die, but I was also a little scared. But like, making a kid work in general is kind of scummy. And then also, leaving him alone as often as Tenmyoji did. Obviously, it was also kind of scummy. And also, like, being a critical dickhead when your fucking kid that you make work comes home with a bad haul because he had a bad day and he didn't know how to deal with it because he's a fucking kid. That still pisses me off, but I think it really just shows how much Tenmyoji did not know what the fuck he was doing, and then these scenes made it clear that he cared about him. So, yeah. And also, I feel this because my dad also is kind of fumbly about being a father and, you know, rather gruff and emotionless, and this is actually really hitting me in a lot of spots, because I don't know, for some reason I wasn't really expecting Tenmyoji and Quark's relationship to strike such a chord with me, but in retrospect, why did I not think that? Fortunately, I must have passed some of my luck on to Grandpa, because a week later his fever finally broke. I was glad he wasn't gonna die, but I was also a little scared. What if he decided he didn't want a stupid kid like me around anymore? Oof, man. The thing is, like, I'm 28 now, and I had a long time to realize that my dad cares a lot. But it's still rather hard to always believe that, honestly. But he's not abusive. He does get angry, and sometimes you could say he's abusive when he's angry enough, but like, he's not literally like, I'm going to beat you up for the tiniest mistake, thankfully. I'm really thankful I don't have to deal with that, and I'm sorry for everyone that does, because I know there's a lot, and that sucks. It sucks that there's so many fathers that just never learned how to fucking not be complete messes. Anyway. Yeah, the thing is I know my dad cares a lot, and he's really good at showing it with just, everything but, like, words. And, like, he's good at showing it with actions, but not, like, affectionate ones, more like, again, material things and taking care of me and making sure I'm alright. And I think I'm starting to realize that a lot of his criticism is a lot more making sure that I'm going to be a functional adult at some point in my life, rather than actually, like, being super ultra disappointed in me. Although I think that is part of it, but I think it's literally because of what I just said. Because I'm 28 and I've struggled immensely with college, jobs, etc., to the point that I'm still living with him jobless right now. Everything he does makes a lot of sense if I think about it that way. If he just wants me to have a future and he's really worried I might not have one. Because he seems to rather honestly share my sentiment that I'm probably one of the least competent people that exist in the universe, and he's just worried I won't be able to ever support myself, and I'm also in that boat. But I now know more of what I'm capable of, because I had to push through fear and anxiety in order to do more stuff with my life, and I have been. Like this channel, for example. It took a lot for me to even start it, so I'm getting somewhere. I've started to realize that as long as I'm doing all that I can and not just hiding just because it's hard to try, he's pretty amiable, I've noticed. Unless I make some big mistakes and he's also in a bad mood. Because there were times, like, one time when I lost my wallet when I was a teenager, and he just fucking ripped into me verbally for hours. And then I had a panic attack about it, and then he just yelled at me more about that. Because he doesn't know how to deal with it. Now I understand that's why. And not that he doesn't give a fuck about me. But man, it felt like it at that point. And there was another point I had a big meltdown in a grocery store, because again, I have extreme anxiety. And we got in the car, and then he said, fucking embarrassing. Because he literally wants to keep it the status quo, and I think he doesn't realize that's more important to him than me sometimes, because he lets it be. I really want him to change, and feel like I need him to change. But I'm trying to figure out how to not do that. Anyway, enough of my life story. I just felt like this was absolutely the kind of thing that I should share with, alongside this kind of story, because it's kind of similar to me and my dad's. I love him, though. And he loves me, I know that now, but there are probably still going to be times where I don't think that, but I think I'll always return to knowing that. Just like Quark, Fortunately, I must have passed some of my luck on to Grandpa, because a week later his fever finally broke. I was glad he wasn't going to die, but I was also a little scared. What if he decided he didn't want a stupid kid like me around anymore? The plan was to apologize as soon as he woke up, but when the moment came, my brain just stopped. Grandpa started to talk, and it took me a minute to realize he was apologizing. I didn't know what to think. He explained that he was an old man, and he meant that meant he was probably gonna die sooner rather than later. Oof, man. And they showed this too. He was strict with me because he wanted to make sure I'd be able to see. This is exactly what my dad does. Wow. I was expecting to relate to this so much for some reason. He was strict with me because he wanted to make sure I'd be able to make it on my own after he was gone. But you know what? My dad's rather old too. I'm 28 and he's almost 70 for context. God damn it. Maybe he'd been a little too strict. It makes sense. All the things I'd worried about had been stupid and selfish. Yeah, I feel that, man, but it's hard not to worry about them again sometimes. Grandpa cared about me a whole lot. He'd been worried when I ran off and he'd gone out into the rain to look for me. I tried to apologize, but when I opened my mouth, I just started crying. I don't think I've cried that much since I was a baby. Ooh, man. But he just smiled and patted my head. Good boys deserve head pats. I asked him if he'd ever regretted adopting me. Oof, man. His eyes got all wide and he said, of course not. He told me that he was looking for a really important lady, and because of that, he'd had to give up on pretty much everything else in his life. Interesting. Well, when he took me in instead of raising me, he'd felt like he'd gotten some of what he'd lost back. I see. When I decided I'd stay with him forever, well, even if he said I couldn't. Cute boy. Wait, what? What the fuck is this? What's the blackness? Is there something wrong with the game? What? What's going on? The game's black. Is this on purpose? Or is something going on? Oh. Why is there credits? What? This is not the end of the game. Why is this credits? Like, why this ending for credits? This is not the true ending. But cool. I want to skip these. Can I skip these? Can I skip these? Because I'm going to let them play when the fucking true ending's over. Why is this a credits ending? That's interesting. Tenmyoji ends. In root vir veritas. I wonder what that's a reference to. Oh, wait. There's character endings. Wow, man, there's so much I haven't played because, like, literally, I was just used to those question marks there. Apparently, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 other character endings that, despite all the other endings that I just did, I haven't touched any of them. What the fuck? Are they all locked behind question marks? I guess we are gonna see as we continue, huh? But either way, friends, like, comment, subscribe if you like to. I will see y'all next time. Keep loving yourselves, loving your life, doing what you love. And I love you, and I will see y'all next time.